That was terrifying.
I fucked that up. There was a delay on my end. That's gonna be fucked up. Anyways, I kind of almost feel like Freddy from iCarly when I do 3, 2, 1. And then I have the little theme song from iCarly in my head when I do
Wow,
that.
that's like a very niche reference. I love that.
That's a millennial
that
reference.
is, yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Hello, young listeners, do you know what we're talking about? Do we have younger listeners? Like, I think we are primarily...
I don't think we...
I'm assuming we're millennial and... what's the one that's ahead of us? Is it Gen X?
Gen Z.
No, they're under us.
Oh, they're under us. Yeah, no, it is Gen X.
Right? Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I think that... I will say, overwhelmingly, I think our audience still falls into the realm of, like, gothic queer. Love it for us.
Speaking of gothic...
You've got the spooky sleeves. I know. I'm thrilled. I have...
It's because of...
my paint shirt.
We're double recording today, and it's not the topic I'm starting with today, but it's the second topic.
You needed the sleeves?
I needed this cardigan on.
I love that. Oh, it's a cardigan? Okay, from here it looks like it's like a blouse. Like a... Oh.
No, well, it's because of this shirt that I'm wearing, but yeah, it's this cardigan.
Well, it's a spooky cardigan. Oh, spooky. I want one of those. I need some sleeves. Some spooky ass. You know what I want? I want like big ass fucking like Stevie Nicks giant ass sleeves. Like 70s sleeves, you know?
We all need Stevie Nicks sleeves.
Big time. Big
Yeah.
Stevie energy. The end.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Are you putting lidocaine gel on your cut?
Ambisol gel.
What is... Kelly had dental surgery this week.
This stuff is I love you. You are my best friend, but this...
That might be a strong contender. I get it.
For the since Thursday.
I can't numb you the way that can, so... I get it. I understand. Also, welcome back to Oddities, everybody.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Cassie.
And welcome back to Strange Town, where we have become completely unhinged.
Completely and totally. It's your favorite intolerable... Well, you're still...
Prattling cows.
You're still on the good side of things. I'm, an intolerable prattling cow. So good to be here. Moo.
Moo moo. All of our things are linked down below. If you have spooky stories, please...
Spooky stories.
Specifically personal stories.
Yes.
Please send them to us, because we love doing listener episodes. In fact, today we had one come out. Enjoy.
Yeah,
well, today as in
when we're recording this,
ago.
but it's... Right. Today is in May 28th.
Follow us on social media. Join the really unhinged party over on our Patreon, where weekly we have videos come out, and you get to just see that fun.
The brain melts.
A whole nother... Yep. And that's for as low as $1 a month. You can get 4 videos a week.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you get a bonus episode where Cassie gives me a random word and I get to try to match her background.
That's right. And, that comes out to like 2 Starbucks coffees a year that you could afford to watch us additionally every week.
Yep.
So, just saying.
If you do it.
If you do it, $1, yeah. If you do more, honestly, it's going to come up to like three cups of Starbucks, because Starbucks is so fucking expensive, but it's so good.
Yeah, Starbucks keeps going up.
I know. Well, doesn't everything? Our water bill keeps going up.
That's true.
It's fucking annoying.
That's rude.
It is rude.
Anyways.
Yeah, anyway. How ye be, bestie?
Well, my mouth is swollen.
But also numb now.
But also numb now. Yeah, I had a root canal this
Womp.
week, and normally that should go pretty easy and flawless. However, I flinched.
Whoops.
Because that's the body's natural response when you're not numbed all the way.
Whoops.
And you hit the root, and they cut the inside of your mouth.
So, it's like, and I wouldn't wish this on you, but I wish it was the outside, because at least you'd look like a badass. Like, people would be like, like, holy shit,
At least they would know why I talk like this. It was hilarious, because when I came home, my sister was watching the kids, and I immediately was like, I need to drink something and take something, so I was drinking a protein shake.
Did it just drool?
Yeah, I had my entire half of my face was completely numb
Mm-hmm.
because after the incident, the doctor spent like an additional 10 minutes making sure I was numbed to
Yeah.
hell. Bless her.
Bless up.
And literally, I was trying to drink and it was just
It
coming
was.
down my face. It was hilarious. It
I love it.
was one of my finer moments in life. Um, so yeah, it's been an interesting week to say the least.
Yeah.
So, how was your week, bestie? I got to see you do something very cool.
I know. I had a week of high highs, low lows, and everything in between. I finally got to graduate. I mean, I guess I graduated like 5 months ago. Well, when this comes out, 6 months ago. But I got to walk across the stage, and fully knowing that my best bud was watching me from across the country. I can't tell you how
Yeah.
much I appreciate that. And it was really cool. And the Hopkins campus is beautiful. For anybody who didn't know, I graduated from Johns Hopkins, aka Johnny Hops, as I call it. Which I'm sure if they knew I called it that, they probably wouldn't have given me a diploma.
Revoked.
Yeah, revoked instantly. Didn't love our speaker at graduation.
One of them was really
One was
cool.
great. One did a great job. The other one
Yep.
was like, what the fuck?
Very
Yeah,
self-centered.
but that's okay. And my family was there. There was three of them in the stands for me, but you would have thought that there was maybe 80 with how loud they were. So we love it. Uh,
That's what you get for being
that's
Italian.
what our family does. We can't go anywhere in a subtle fashion. And
Show up or go home.
that's exactly right. My graduation cap came out really cool. Maybe I should put some graduation pictures. I should share. I didn't do
You
that.
should.
Yeah. So I'll do that. I'll share with everybody. And my cap was cool. It was a beautiful day. So really couldn't have asked for more. And then work was wild this week. But all's well that ends well there too. It was just like, I don't know,
Right,
such a
right.
roller coaster. And yesterday we got to go out to Corey's hometown and where we used to live for my father-in-law's birthday celebration, and that was great. And it was again really nice weather, and it was nice to see everybody. It's been a while, so uh, and this morning before we did this, I painted my shed doors,
Yay.
so it's been exciting. And then we have more housework the rest of this Memorial Day weekend. So here we are. That's how we roll.
That's all the fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, it's funny.
hmm.
I watching your graduation when it first started, I was impressed because I don't know what I was expecting with watching a live stream graduation, but they did like a very nice intro and like of all like showing the graduates and all that, and so I'm like, "Where's
Did you
Cassie?"
see me? I was up on the jumbotron.
Were you?
Yes, I was, and they caught me mouthing, "Where's the fucking camera?"
No, I didn't. But you know what's funny? The whole time I was explaining to my sister what your grad cap looked like in case that at least I saw
Ah,
that.
yes. I love that. I love that you guys were
I was so
watching.
proud of your grad cap.
Thank you. I love how it turned out. I'm thrilled with that thing. I'm gonna hang it up in here. I
You
have
should. It was
thank
beautiful.
you. I have shadow boxes of all my grad. You know what I'm gonna turn into? You know, like in Twilight when they just have the wall of fucking
I was
grad
about to
caps.
ask, are you gonna?
That's what it's turning into, and I wasn't even trying, but here we are. Yeah. So yeah, they caught me at the beginning when we were all seating and everything. Like I saw myself, I was like, "Oh, it's me," and you could see me mouthing that, and then I go, "Where's the fucking camera?" And I looked everywhere and I couldn't see it at all, but
That's
that's okay.
impressive.
Here we are. It was guerrilla filming tactics.
My second favorite part about watching you graduate, other than, watching you graduate,
Right.
was the part where there was, I don't know if you saw this, there was a part where one of the graduates threw a bunch of
Oh my god, I
confetti on the
know.
dean,
Threw it at the dean.
and he was just like, ah, what the
So taken
hell?
aback. I loved it. My other favorite part was somebody had a service dog walk with them, a little golden retriever, and it had a tiny whittle
Yes!
graduation cap on a whittle intellectual baby. I
It was
loved
the
it so much.
goodest
The
doggy
goodest
ever.
pupper. We loved it. So it was it was great. So it's been a wild week, but it's been a great week. And I'm thankful it's a
Honestly,
long weekend.
I was like, graduation on a Monday, who does that? And then I'm like, you know what? It was a good way to start the week. I'm not
I
mad.
mean, it was. Well, thanks to their really strange planning. I had 3 days at work this week because I took Tuesday off because we were traveling back from Baltimore.
Hmm.
And then now next week coming up, it's only a 4-day week because of Memorial Day. So it's back to back short weeks. We love it.
Yeah. And by the way, the pictures you took on the sign,
Thank
adorable.
you. Those are my favorite pictures. My favorite part,
They're
though, my
adorable.
favorite part, however, is that in half of the pictures we took, my hat is on backwards and nobody told me.
I'm
I mean,
I'm so sorry I wasn't there to tell
you
you.
know what? I love it for me because it's just
So on
so,
brand.
yeah. I mean, honestly, after getting through a Hopkins degree, if my hat was on the correct way, I think I would have been surprised. So there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into that shit over the last couple of years. So and a lot of brain cells that I will never get back again. So here we are.
Here we
And
are.
that's why we continue to give you such high quality content on this podcast. Um,
Yep.
Speaking of which, we've done our usual. We're 10.5 minutes in, my friend.
Whoop whoop.
Here we are. You guys have heard our intolerable prattling.
Intolerable
Yeah, that's what.
mooing.
Moo, moo. So should we get the party started?
Let's go.
Mine's like a little spookalabook, but not like overly spookalabookala. So where on the realm on a scale of 0 to spookalabookala, where do you fall?
0.
0? All right. Do we want to start with mine and end with you then, or do you want to start with you and end with mine? Mine's a mind fuck.
I think we should. Uh, let's go with yours
Okay.
then.
I am covering. My nose is leaking. I'm sorry. It's
That's
allergies.
We're covering Cassie's nose
We're
leaking,
covering my
guys.
drippy ass nose. Today, I'm covering a topic from one of our listeners, but I've made the sore mistake of not writing down who provided this topic, so I'm very sorry to you. Feel free to write in and chastise me, but it's called third man syndrome or the third man
Ooh.
factor. Spookily, bookily. All right, I changed it there. I changed it up. All right, so between 1914 and 1917, there was a man by the name of Sir Ernest Shackleton who embarked on a wild journey to cross the entire Antarctic. And it was ultimately an ill-fated journey, right? It failed, but it would be remembered as one of the greatest feats of endurance in human history. So, speaking of endurance, the ship that they were on was called the Endurance, and it was carrying Shackleton's party, and it got stuck in ice. This is 1915. A group of sailors makes this wild journey across the inhospitable land to reach what's called Elephant Island, and then eventually South Georgia. And the ill equipped team crossed mountains and glaciers to try and find safety, right? And so Shackleton writes about his experiences, and he says, he makes this very interesting admission during it. He goes, quote, during that long and racking march of 36 hours over the unnamed mountains and glaciers of South Georgia, it seemed to me often that we were four, not three. And so, thanks to this account from 1915, more survivors have come forward to explain. Do you hear my fucking dogs?
Yep.
All right, well, everybody's going to hear my fucking dogs. So, more survivors have come forward to explain this bizarre phenomenon, which is called third man syndrome, which is this apparition that can't be explained that appears only under these like really harsh, terrible circumstances. So let's talk about it. It's one of the strangest phenomena of human survival. It's this third man syndrome. He first described it during his journey, but soon more and more people have come forward and they echo his experience. Like there have been mountain explorers, shipwreck survivors, explorers in like polar regions. They've all claimed to have either seen a person or heard a voice, often providing helpful information on how they should escape their situation. Another individual is British explorer Frank Smythe, who almost became the first person to summit Mount Everest in 1933. But along with his climbing party, he made the intense journey towards the summit in very poor conditions. And his party soon turned back after really bad weather, lack of oxygen. It made the summit just impossible, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
Smythe, decided, well, maybe I won't turn back. And he continued. He was determined to complete the summit, but he narrowly missed it by about 1,000 feet. And while Smythe was completely alone, he doesn't remember it as being fully alone. He says, quote, all that time I was climbing alone, I had a strong feeling that I was accompanied by a second person. The feeling was so strong that it completely eliminated all loneliness I might have otherwise felt. And he recounted this in his diary after his climbing attempt. And at one point, he was so convinced of this imaginary guide with him that he tried to share some like cakes that he had brought with. I guess like I don't know if they're like protein cakes or what the fuck they were, but anyway, he tried to share it with this person, and upon turning around, there was nobody there.
Okay.
And so this third man, it also became popularized in a famous book by a man named John Geiger. and it's called the third man factor, and that cultivates this like huge array of examples of this phenomenon. So John Geiger chronicles this phenomenon, and he refers to it as a phantom companion, and he explains that the third man is an unseen being that intervenes at like a critical moment. Either people are in great stress or they're in like a life and death struggle, and it gives comfort, aid, or support. And he says, quote, clearly there is a spiritual or religious explanation to this phenomenon. Which I don't know. I mean, that's his opinion. I have other thoughts. But anyway, he also says there's a strong science behind it. He says, quote, many skeptics and non-believers also have had this experience, and they attribute it to other explanations. And there are certainly some very interesting pieces of science behind this. And so when he's writing this book, he spent like 5 years tracking down stories of people who have experienced this third man phenomenon. He opens his story with the book of a man named Ron DeFrancesco, who was a worker at the World Trade Center on 9/11. DeFrancesco was on the 84th floor of the South Tower when the second plane struck. He tried to make his way down the stairwell, but was forced to lie down to avoid like this raging fire and like very thick smoke. And it was then that he recalls feeling something grab his hand and lead him out. And he was the last person to leave the South Tower before it collapsed.
Oh,
I
wow.
know, right? That's like I got goose bumps.
Yeah.
Um, and so Geiger, the author, he says, quote, if we understand that the third man factor is a part of us, the way adrenaline is, then we can start to access it more easily. He said it's not a hallucination in the sense that hallucinations are disordering. It's a helpful and orderly guide, like hallucination. um,
Ugh.
I know. Of course, I also mentioned Ernest Shackleton, but there's also, let's see, poet T.S. Eliot. He read Shackleton's account of this mysterious individual, and then he took some poetic license with the idea, and he wrote about it in a famous poem, The Wasteland. And he had turned Shackleton's fourth individual into a third, and this is where the phenomenon actually gets its name from. And the poem, the part of the poem goes, who is the third who always walks beside you? When I count, there are only you and I together, but when I look ahead up the white road, there is always another one walking beside you. Gliding wrapped in a brown mantle, hooded, I do not know whether a man or a woman, but who is that on the other side of you? And this has also like happened in more recent times too. Like there's adventurers like climber Reinhold Messner and polar explorers Peter Hillary and Anne Bancroft. They've reported experiencing the same or similar circumstances, I guess I should say. There was a study of cases involving adventurers that reported that the largest group involved climbers with solar sailors. There was also shipwreck survivors. That was the second most common group, and then the polar explorers. And there was a similar experience documented by mountain climber Joe Simpson in his 1988 book, Touching the Void, which recounts his near-death experience with the when he was in the Peruvian Andes. And Simpson describes this like voice that he heard, which encouraged him and directed him as he crawled back to base camp after suffering like this really terrible leg injury very high up on Ciula Grande. And he fell off a cliff into a crevice, like it was a whole thing. And some journalists have related this to the concept of a guardian angel or an imaginary friend. Scientific explanations consider the phenomenon to be a coping mechanism. Um, but anyway, the author of this big book, Geiger, who created or who collected like all these stories, he says it's an astonishing capacity if you think about it, and it sort of hints at this idea that as human beings we are never truly alone, that we have this ability to call upon this resource when we most need it in our lives. And so, really, in the end, nobody really knows what this third man factor, this third man, whatever syndrome, whatever you want to call it, they don't really know what it is. There are some scientific explanations, like I said, like coping mechanisms, things like that. But a lot of people say that it is like a hallucination in response to extreme stress. But the idea that it puts forward reasonable information in times of extreme pressure, like suggests that it's some sort of like survival resource that we have within us. It has also been utilized in therapy, which I thought was super interesting. It's with the understanding that it could be a coping mechanism in attempts to help people with like very severe traumas. It's also used to support the bicameral mentality hypothesis, which states that the brain is made of two sections, one that speaks, the other that listens. And such a response, such as this one, is so rare and under such like catastrophic scenarios that it will likely never be fully studied. But the idea that in times of need, there's this section of our brain that we don't even know is there that'll just conjure somebody to help us out is really just like kind of this weirdly comforting thing, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean that's all there is to it. I don't have a ton on it because it's not been widely studied. I wish it would.
This is giving me. This is like. Do you remember the movie The Guardian?
No, but I was thinking about a movie too that it reminded me of. But you go ahead first.
Okay, so did you ever see the movie The Guardian with Ashton Kutcher and
I don't think so.
okay, it was a movie based off of the book The Guardian from Nicholas Sparks.
Okay.
And at the end of the movie, the whole point of it was that the one of the main characters ends up passing away. But he's like, "Where is he? Where is he?" And he's like, "Who are you talking about? You were by yourself." And he's like, "No, he was with me. He said he would never let go. He held on to me the whole time."
Oh.
And it was like he was completely
Right,
alone,
right.
kind of a thing. But it gives me that kind of vibe
Wow.
too. That
Yeah, yeah. So that's two of his books then, because now that you're saying this reminds me of another one of his books. And in the movie, it's Julianne Hough and Joshua Duhamel, and she escapes like her abusive whatever, and then like the neighbor's there, and like she befriends the neighbor, but the
yeah,
neighbor's not actually there, and it's actually like the dead mom, but it's not. But you know what I mean? Kind of
yep,
gives me that.
yep, yep,
The
yep.
other movie that I was thinking of, and I can't for the life of me remember the name of it, but I think it was based on a true story. It has Shailene Woodley. She's supposed to be like sailing around the world with like her boyfriend, and then he actually ends up
Oh,
dying, but she still sees him.
yeah.
And that's like the plot twist at the end is like he died during their shipwreck, but like she didn't know it, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
I'm totally
exactly which
blanking
one
on the
you're
name of the
talking
movie.
about. Oh, and that makes me think of the other movie too. With freaking oh gosh, what's his name? But all I can think of is High School Musical.
Oh, Zac Efron.
Yeah, and he like can't let go of his brother's spirit.
Oh, and they're playing baseball. Something
Yeah,
Charlie McLeod. No, Charlie Saint
yeah.
Cloud. Charlie.
It's Charlie St.
Yeah,
Cloud.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, we just pulled a lot of movies right out of our asses about that. We didn't write it. We didn't script any of that, kids. That was just. But anyway, I think this was like a very very cool topic to read about. I wish they would study it more. I love that they're trying to use it in therapy, and I just like. I mean, I'm not one to personally believe in the idea of guardian angels and things like that because that's just like not my thing. But like, I do love this idea that there's this coping mechanism built within us where it's like in times of these extreme stress, like we find a way, we find what we need in order to survive.
Yeah.
So I'm laughing because Kelly just moved her microphone, but her face when she was doing it was like really funny. But anyway,
I was trying not to make noise on the thing.
oh okay, yeah. So anyway, that's the third man like syndrome. I think it's really interesting. I think probably more than anything else, it's very
Do you think
likely.
it's a trauma response?
I do. I think it's a trauma response. I think it's probably a hallucination because
Mm-hmm.
the literally the only common factor among all these scenarios is that these people were under extreme stress and circumstances.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That definitely
and it
is what I'm thinking.
yeah, and it like made me think too like I mean, people sometimes like I know in hospitals, like in their really grave circumstances, like they'll see somebody in their room that's not actually there, like
Hmm.
to me it's like okay, well maybe that's what this is too. So, anyway, that's my take.
Yeah.
And so you agree? You think it's like a trauma shock thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what my brain and then my brain also goes to when I'm under a lot of stress or anxiety, I seem to have sleep paralysis and see some
You
really
see some
interesting things.
shit.
So, you know,
Well, I mean, when I'm
I
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say when I'm stressed, I start talking to myself. So I mean, it's
So, yeah,
like
we do
muttering.
some very interesting things when we're under extreme stress or anxieties. So, when I would imagine if our bodies are under that same pressure,
Hmm.
there certain things manifest.
Yeah. So
You know?
yeah, I mean, I certainly don't think it's out of the realm of possible that this could totally be something that we bring out within ourselves. And I don't necessarily
Yeah,
consider it to be some sort of supernatural being, but that's my hot take.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the third man
Very
syndrome.
interesting topic,
Right?
nonetheless.
Cool stuff. So thank you.
Yeah,
Again, I'm very sorry whoever suggested this. I'm so sorry I didn't mark your name down. I fully acknowledge I'm a piece of shit, but thank you and we appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
an amazing topic, nonetheless. Yes.
Yes. So, my friend, what do you have? That's 0%
Well,
spooky.
I'm traveling to Africa
Oh, very cool.
to talk about a cryptid.
Ooh, this might be spooky.
Yes.
Okay.
And in my opinion, no, because I think it sounds really cute.
Oh, it's not spooky. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Um, I, my cousin even helped me with this cryptid comes from cousin Nathan. Thank you,
Oh, thanks,
cousin
cousin
Nathan.
Nathan.
And he even helped me with the pronunciation, and I already in
Is it
this
gone? Okay,
state, it's already messed up in my
that's
brain.
okay.
Um, the Mokele Membe,
That sounds good to me. I mean,
located in the Congo River Basin, but other sightings have been reported in swampy wetlands,
gross.
wherever that may
Oh,
be.
yeah.
Um, this cryptid has been described as the African Loch Ness Monster,
Shut up! Really?
and on multiple occasions, a living dinosaur.
Oh, spookily, boogala.
Described as a large amphibious animal with a bulky body, long neck and tail, and a small head. I
Same,
looked it up.
sure.
It looks like a brontosaurus, maybe like a small version of a
Oh my
brontosaurus. I'm
god,
not
like
gonna
a
lie.
little baby Bronto. I love that.
I'm gonna be honest. It looks like a baby brontosaurus.
We. Oh, I hope it's real.
Mokele Mumbe
Hmm.
translates from Lingala for one who stops flow of rivers.
That's very cool. I just have to say, my favorite part of all of this is that every time you try to pronounce it, and I don't think you realize you're doing it, you like cringe. You like get up inside yourself. You're like,
Enjoy that, Cassie, because I'm gonna probably do it every time.
Mokele Mbale. You're trying your best. You're doing an A+ job, I'm sure.
Um, the first report of the Mokele Membe comes from German Captain Ludwig Freiherr
Oh, we have.
von Steen zu
Oh wow, we got to get super German. So it's like,
Leschwitz.
holy shit, what a name, Ludwig von. What was it? I can't even. You want me to try to do it? Ludwig von. I can't even. It's too long. I can't remember.
It's this long. This name is this
All
long.
right, don't say it again. Don't say. We're going to call him Ludi.
As described by Willie Ley in the book of Lungfish the Unicorn. I'm not
What the
joking.
fuck? Lungfish the unicorn. I got to read that
Came out in
shit.
1941.
I bet it did.
Von Stein was ordered to conduct a survey of the German colonies in what is now Cameroon in 1913. He heard stories of the enormous reptile called the Mokele Mumbe, alleged to live in the jungles, and included the description of the official report. According to Leigh von Stein,
You're doing a great job. Stein.
worded in his report with the utmost caution, knowing it might be seen as unbelievable, nonetheless, von Stein thought the tales were credible, trusted the native guides. He related the tales to him. The stories were related to him by independent sources, yet featured many of the same details. Though von Stein's report were never formally published, they quoted Stein's writing. The animal is said to be brownish gray color, smooth skin, the size approximately that of an elephant, at least that of a hippopotamus.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
I would say on the smaller side of a dinosaur. I picture dinosaurs being ginormous.
Oh well, yeah. So would I. So yes, I think this is like a very tiny dinosaur, but that's okay.
Yeah. It is said to have long and very flexible neck and only one tooth,
Oh.
but a very long one. Some would say it's a horn. A
Oh.
few spoke about a long muscular tail like that of an alligator. Canoes coming near it were said to be doomed.
Oh.
The animal is said to attack the vessels at once and kill the crews but not eat the bodies.
Okay.
But it would
Kind of.
kill it with its tail.
Kind of rude, right? It's like, well, I mean, it's like a little wasteful.
Yeah.
Okay.
The creature is said to live in the caves and have been washed out by the river in clay of its shores and sharp bends.
Mm.
It is said to climb on the shores at daytime in search of food. Its diet is said to be entirely of vegetables,
This
Brontosaurus.
is big Brontosaurus energy. I guess in my mind, Brontosauruses though were just like gentle giants that wouldn't harm a fly, and now like this thing's like
Yeah,
beating the
that's
shit out of
true.
people with its tail. But like maybe it's just bitter. I mean, I get it.
It's tiny. It's tiny and angry.
It's tiny,
Think about it
angry,
like
and it's
that.
like
It's not a
alone.
gentle giant.
Yeah, it's by itself. It's all alone on its owny.
It was left alone. It's
Well,
angry.
so I mean, I get it. I guess. Also, what are you doing canoeing by this
Um,
thing? Like,
yeah. This feature disagrees with possible explanation of uh, as a myth. The preferred plant was shown to von Stein. It's kind of linga and large white blossom with a
oh,
milky soap sap and apple-like fruits
ooh,
with it.
stunning.
Yeah. At the Sisomba River, he was shown a path said to have been made by the animal in order to get its food. The path was fresh, where the plants were described to him nearby. So and
Mhm.
like freshly eaten.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it was like had just been there. But since there were too many tracks of elephants and hippos and other large mammals, it was impossible to make out the particular tracks of the
The
mum-
you're doing the thing. Mumbali and Mebembe. Did I fuck it up?
the Mokele.
Oh shit. Okay. Von Stein.
I was like trying to relax.
It's okay. It's her. Smooth sailing. Here we go.
In 2001, BBC broadcast in the TV series Congo the Collective interview with a group of Biake
It's okay.
Biake um, Pygmies.
Oh,
I wrote this and I
pygmies.
can't. Pygmies. Thank you. I
Okay.
wrote this and I can't pronounce
No,
it.
that's okay.
Who identified the Mokele as rhinoceros.
Oh, well, that makes sense
Um,
with the horn and whatnot. Yeah. Not
yeah,
the tail
while
though.
looking at illustrated manual of wildlife.
Interesting. I mean, I guess I could see it.
Yeah, neither species of African rhinoceroses and um, is common in the Congo basins, though.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
so
Okay.
it's like leaving more mysteries and questions than answers.
I love that BBC did this.
Um,
They were like, let's investigate this
yeah,
shit. Yeah.
and the Mebembe is a mixture of the mythology and folk memory from a time when rhinoceroses were found in the area.
Well, okay. Yeah. Because those,
So,
like, those are pretty widely hunted, right? And everything, like poachers. So, like,
yeah.
maybe, yeah.
Um, in 2016, a travel documentary crew from South Africa made a documentary about searching for the Mokele Membe, which they later sold to Discovery Africa. The team spent roughly 4 weeks in the Likula swamp region, visiting various villages, collecting stories of the creature's existence. They point out the difficulty and differentiating between the Mokele Membe's physical existence. While they interviewed people who believed the presence, and others stated it died at least a decade ago. So in 1996
Yeah.
or 2006.
No,
2000,
2016.
26. Well, yeah, it was 2016, so it
So
would have been
2006. Yeah,
2006.
yeah. Wow, I hate that 2006 is almost 20 years ago.
That's not that long ago at all.
To me, that feels like I hate.
There was a dinosaur living
Oh, I know.
in our
That's true. That's true.
lifetime.
That's true. That's true. Although some would argue that chickens are dinosaurs,
They're still
so
living.
we've got
I
them.
want chickens
They're
in my
they're
backyard. I'm
around
just
here
saying.
aplenty. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
In 2018, Adam Christoph Kunth
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
along with a film crew from Danish radio and DNA scientists, traveled to Lake Telith in Congo in search of the Mebembe.
Mhm.
They did not find the dinosaur.
Damn it. They tried.
They tried. I kept trying to find like different times that people looked and tried to find, and yeah. The Mokele Membe existence has been highly questioned since its publication. The lack of physical evidence and the conflicting witnesses have made the existence of the entity doubtful by the outstanding majority of scientists and historians. The most reasonable and agreed explanation is the Mokele Membe is a legend based on the black rhinoceros, a species once common to the Central Africa, where stories of the Mokele Membe originated.
Hmm.
The absence of the evidence, despite several centuries of Western contact to the region, numerous expeditions in search of the animal, and periodic aerial satellite surveillance, all of which have detected elephants and other large animals, but no black rhinoceroses, all argue against the existence of the Mokele Membe. But I want to believe in the Mokele Membe. I'm not going to lie.
I too want to believe in it. I do very much buy the black rhinoceros explanation, though.
The 1-2 thing makes me
It's
believe
it's
in
the
it.
yeah, exactly. Although where this long neck and the tail came from, I don't know. But like, also they don't eat meat, right? Are they herbivores as well? I don't know. I don't know anything about
I
rhinoceri,
don't know anything about
rhinoceroses,
rhinoceri.
rhinos. We'll just do rhinos.
Rhinos. We'll just do rhinos.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to believe it's real though. Also, how wild, like, you think about, like, the shit that we see day to day or whatever, and then, like, casually in Africa, they're like, oh, well, it climbed out amongst the hippos and the rhinos, and you're like, what the fuck? These things are just, like, hanging around. I don't know, it's just crazy to think about. Do you know what I mean?
Also, and then I have to wonder, was this just a mutant rhino?
Yeah, maybe it had, like, some kind of, like, maybe it had, like, a deformity, or I don't know, and then, yeah. Or, how,
Those things, that
I mean, it
exists,
does exist, and like, or like, there's just like like over time, like things just get like hyperbolic and like really
Things
crazy. Yeah.
happen.
So, wow. Well, that's an interesting one. Thanks, cousin Nathan, and good job.
Thank you,
Good job to you. That was a
Nathan.
lot of hard words.
Yes, it
It
was.
was. That
With a
was rough.
slice
Like,
in my mouth.
yeah, snaps. Hopefully that came up.
I decided this before I had the cut in my mouth, and then I committed, so there's
No,
that.
there's no turning back now. Well, I thought that was excellent. Let us know what you think, listeners. I mean, I want to believe it's real, but I think we have a pretty good explanation on our hands. But I would just say, until next time,
Stay strange.
stay as strange as.